The Marine Farming Association is a subscription-based organisation representing marine farmers in the top of the South Island of New Zealand. Its aims are to promote, foster, advance, encourage, aid and develop the rights and interests of its members and the marine farming industry in general. These days, we focus on educating and providing factual material on the marine farming industry. We also have a keen interest in introducing people to this exciting industry where there exists a wealth of new employment opportunities. This work also involves close involvement with schools and training institutions within the region. Farmers in this area of New Zealand grow approximately 70% of the marine products farmed in New Zealand. The major species include green shell mussels and king salmon. Other species include seaweeds, Pacific oysters and paua, abalone. Sales from these farms exceed $200 million per year. The association is pleased to provide information and an insight into the marine farming industry in the top of the South. It contains a wide range of footage of marine farming practices and educational facilities. I hope you enjoy the visual experience. Port Havelock is the gateway to the Pelorus Sound. The majority of mussel farms in the Marlborough Sounds are located in the Pelorus Sound. Other farming areas include Crescelles Harbour, East Bay in Queen Charlotte Sound and Port Underwood. Here we have the Okiwi Spirit, which is Sanford's seeding vessel. This vessel is a specialist vessel and used to seed mussel onto the growing lines. The mussel's fat is fed into a hopper. The crop rope is fed through a funnel that has a biodegradable stocking on the outside. The mussel's fat is then fed into the stocking at a set per metre rate. This rate varies depending on the location and depth of the farm. A buzzer sounds at a pre-programmed rope length interval. The interval, and hence the length of dropper, is normally determined by the water depth. The stocking line is then tied off onto the farm's backbone or long line. Floats are installed at intervals along the backbone during the seeding process. This gives the backbone enough flotation to keep the growing lines evenly suspended in the water. Further floats are installed during the growing cycle to hold the increasing weight of the mussels. The average time for seeding to harvesting mussels ranges from 18 to 24 months. This line is mussel spat line. You can see the blue mussels that have self-seeded on the growing line and have the potential to smother green shell mussels. This is a problem for mussel farmers as there is no market for the blue shell mussels in New Zealand. Here are some green shell mussels that have been seeded several months previously. You can see the stocking starting to biodegrade. Notice how the mussels sit on the rope pointing upwards. Here we are at Beatrix Bay. Sanford's mussel harvester Intrepid is harvesting a long line covered in market-sized green mussels. The mussels are grown on culture rope, which is a continuous crop rope suspended from the backbone. Farmers aim to achieve a harvest of greater than 6 kgs per metre of growing rope. Once the growing rope is on board, the line is then pulled through a machine on the harvest vessel which strips the mussels off the rope. The mussels then travel down the conveyor belt and are sent through a declumper and washer. At this point, a laser machine may be used to eliminate any blue mussels. The green shell mussels are then sent up a conveyor belt and put into bulk bags ready for the journey back to port and the processing shed. Each of these bulk bags holds about a tonne of mussels. We're at Sanford's mussel processing plant in Havelock. This is where the mussels are brought in, off the harvest vessels, and are inspected and sorted ready for processing. They first travel on the conveyor belt to another room where the first cooking process takes place. They are then processed through the debearder, which removes the absal hair beard from the mussels. Mussels use the absal hairs to attach themselves to the crop rope during the growing cycle. The mussels then go through the final cook and are once again graded. The mussels now need to be opened into a half shell. At Sanford's, this is either undertaken by machine or by hand. See here an automatic opening machine. It uses sensors and a blade to open the mussels. Here we have manual mussel opening, where the openers are using knives to open the mussels. The mussels that they open are counted by sensors, and the openers are paid on a per mussel contract rate. Once opened, the mussels are graded and sent through a blast freezer. They are then automatically weighed and bagged and then packaged according to the customer's requirements. Processed half-shell mussels are then held in the cold store, ready for packing into containers for collection and export. Finfish farming in the Marlborough Sound started in the 1980s, and although various fish species have been trialled, salmon farming is the only commercial fin fish farming industry. Some 8,000 tonnes of king salmon are farmed at a number of sites in the Pelorus Sound, East Bay and Tory Channel. The New Zealand King Salmon Farm at Clay Point in Tory Channel is the largest farm, comprising 10 by 43 by 43 metre pens. The key difference between salmon farming and mussel farming is the introduction of fish food on salmon farms. This is delivered and stored in bulk bags before being placed into large hoppers for distribution to the fish. Feed delivery to the salmon is precisely controlled through sophisticated feed programs, computers, underwater cameras, and pneumatic feed distributors. Such systems eliminate feed wastage and maximizes salmon growth. The underwater cameras are used to determine feed satiation and fish welfare. The salmon are housed in large net pens which are suspended from large steel pontoon structures. Salmon net pen structures also have predator nets to keep seals from entering the net pens. Bird netting is also hung across the growing pens so that birds such as seagulls cannot enter the pens. The salmon are housed at the farm for approximately 12 months. Harvesting takes place on specialty barges which are brought to the site during the harvest season. The salmon are harvested, packed in ice and taken ashore by barge, then processed, ready for sale and consumption. The nets can be lifted and suspended across the top of the steel structures to facilitate cleaning and net changes. The floating structures are moored to the sea floor using screw anchors. Farm staff that are on duty stay on board the service barge so that there is 24-hour surveillance. The barge has a built-in living quarters with all the comforts of home. Farm maintenance and scuba diving is an important part of life on a salmon farm. Here's staff installing the external netting on the farm. What a great job on a perfect day like today. On land, back at Havelock, Clearwater Mussels Limited provide a wide range of support services for the mussel farming industry. Here we see a rope cleaning machine. This machine detangles the previously used crop rope so that when it is used again it won't twist around itself, causing clumps of mussels that don't have enough room to grow. To avoid this, the growing rope is first cleaned, then rotated before it is fed into bulk bags ready for the seeding vessels to collect. There are many different types of rope used on a mussel farm. However, they are all fluffy in texture, so the mussels can easily attach themselves to it. These machines manufacture the stocking material that is used to seed the mussels onto the growing ropes. These machines run all day and make around 20,000 metres of stocking per day. Once knitted, the stocking is fed onto cylinders and is ready to go out to the farm with the growing rope. Clearwater also makes mussel floats using a rotational moulding process. It takes about 50 minutes to make 2 floats. To make the floats, a plastic powder is measured out and tipped into the moulds. These are sealed and the burners lit. The moulds are then rotated to liquefy the powder. Once the process is complete, the floats are removed and left to cool and set. Once the float is set, the bungs are installed and the float is branded with the owner's name for identification purposes. Black and orange floats are used on mussel farms. The orange floats are used at the end of each line for navigational purposes. Floats last for many years, and the damaged or worn out floats can be recycled by reworking them back into powder. The process starts over again. It is essential for successful marine farming that the growing environment is maintained as clean as possible. This means external as well as internal pollutants must be minimalised. The Marine Farming Association and its members are committed to the environment, and since the 1990s, the MFA has operated an active environmental program. The Top of the South environmental strategy incorporates the activities of marine farmers operating in Marlborough, Golden Bay and Tasman Bay districts. The program is managed by the Marine Farming Association's Environment Committee. It includes a large number of volunteers from the marine farming industry. The MFA also implies environmental mentors in Marlborough and Tasman Bay, Golden Bay. These mentors work with marine farmers to ensure they are complying with the industry standards and minimising the impact of marine farming on the surrounding environment. Because we know how much Kiwis love the outdoors and how important the environment is, annual industry-sponsored beach cleans include more than marine farm debris, and the industry's volunteers collect all debris, including recreational and boating debris. The army of volunteers are made up of MFA members and marine farming companies that donate their time, vessels and equipment to participate in regular beach cleanups. The MFA also employs an Environment Program Manager who oversees the implementation of the Top of the South environmental strategy and works with industry operators and other stakeholders to ensure the objectives of the strategy are met. This work includes reporting on the activities of the participants, monitoring and cleaning up key areas in the Top of the South. Marine farming offers a wide range of career opportunities both at sand and on land. At sea, career opportunities range from skippers and deckhands to farm assistants and managers. These jobs generally require some form of ticket of qualification, such as those provided by the Nelson Marlborough Institute of Technology. Scuba diving and computer skills are also valuable tools. On land, there are opportunities for engineers, welders and mechanics who work directly with the offshore employees. There are other land-based activities like marine scientists, food technologists and microbiologists who work on the science side of the industry. Seafood processors, supervisors and managers look after the processing factories and ensure the product from the marine farms are safe for human consumption. There are also a wide range of associated opportunities with regional councils, scientific organisations, port companies and export packaging and marketing. Training for secondary and tertiary students can be received at a number of academic institutes in the Top of the South. For example, the Marine Farming Association sponsors the Queen Charlotte College Aquaculture Academy, which has its own vessel, experimental mussel line and growing tanks on the college campus. The Nelson Marlborough Institute of Technology also offers a 2-year diploma course in aquaculture. This course is based at the Nelson campus, but has extensive practical training sessions at the Cawthron Institute's shellfish hatchery and placements on marine farms in the area.
My name is Dr. Mark Burtis, and I'm the course coordinator for aquaculture here at NMIT. The students get their diploma program. They also expect to get a really good grounding in the industry here in New Zealand. They get a mixture of academic and practical grounding to ensure that when they go into industry, they've got the right balance to do the job.
What I've studied here at NMIT has been excellent preparation for the industry. The course was designed in consultation with industry and iwi. Nelson is actually the hub of aquaculture activity. Based here in Nelson is Aquaculture New Zealand and the Marlborough Sounds, which is one of the biggest areas for growing mussels, salmon, as well as oysters. And it's pretty much on our doorstep, so it's great.
The facilities here at Cawthron are exciting, but really the best part is the interaction with what is happening here at Cawthron with all the other scientists. This course is very exciting. The way the course was designed by NMIT is that the students would get practical knowledge here, hands-on knowledge here, that they can immediately go into the workplace in their work placements. So for 3 weeks every term, they will go and visit with industry and be a part of the industry process. So we're working hard, Mark and I, with our international contacts to be sure that we can, make sure they know these students are available.
Other career options can be research-based for the industry, as well as salmon, oyster, mussel and abalone farming. I've been offered a job with Mount Cook Alpine Salmon. We're based in the Mackenzie country. The program's given great foundations for management with several business courses as well as professional communications and managing people in the workplace.
I'd certainly recommend this course to other people. Aquaculture is, in fact, the fastest growing primary industry in New Zealand. The population of the world is growing and there is a need for us to grow protein for people's health and well-being.
The marine farming industry lives and thrives in the local coastal community. Consents to operate marine farms in the coastal marine area are granted by the local authorities, the Marlborough District Council and the Tasman District Council. The Marine Farming Association recognises these areas are in the public domain and accepts that it is a privilege and a responsibility to work here. The industry works alongside the Department of Conservation, local residents groups, the local port companies and other users of the coastal marine area. This includes the local marine life and birds. The ports play a vital role with supporting the industries. Wharf equipment and access means marine farming can grow and prosper in the sheltered waters of the top of the south.